Yo, sports bettors. Yesterday we cashed this 5-pick flex play on PrizePicks. So again, if you go 5 for 5 on a PrizePicks flex play, you are getting a 10x payout, which you can see we got right here. So I have 5 more picks for today, actually 6 more picks for today. So let's just go ahead and let's get into it. So the first tool I use a lot of times on OddsJam is called the OddsJam Screen. So what this tool is really useful for is comparing where books have different lines than PrizePicks. Right, so what you'll notice right here is the first thing that jumped out at me was Chris Paul. His line on PrizePicks is 15.5 points. On Underdog Fantasy, a direct competitor to PrizePicks, it works basically in the exact same way as PrizePicks. The line is 14.5 points. On FanDuel, on DraftKings, on every other book, his line is basically 14.5 points. So we have tons of data points telling us, CP3's line should be at 14.5 points. Underdog's at 14.5. FanDuel has the under favored, right? They actually have the under 14.5 points juiced. You can see the under is minus 114 and the over is minus 106. So FanDuel is really bullish on Chris Paul going under 14.5 points. DraftKings, on the other hand, they have the over 14.5 points favored. So there's some disagreement in the market. But long story short, right, PrizePicks, their line is too high. Every sportsbook at 14.5, Underdog Fantasy, their direct competitor at 14.5. PrizePicks at 15.5, we want to take the under, right? We have dozens of data points telling us, this line should be at 14.5. We're getting 15.5 on PrizePicks, so we want to hit the under, right? That's how you think as a sharp sports bettor. All these books want to be unique. They set lines, they set prices, odds independently. So you ruthlessly look through the market for spots like this, right? Inefficiencies in the market, right? You're kind of like a day trader, a savvy investor. You're hunting through the millions of odds across sports books, looking for value. So first play, I took Paul under. Then I also took Booker over. So take a look at Booker, right? Booker, for Devin Booker, his line on PrizePicks is 31.5 points. Underdog is 32. FanDuel is 32.5, right? And then you can see there's some, sports books either like Pinnacle and like DraftKings, they have the over 31.5 favored. So here you can see DraftKings has over 31.5 at minus 130, so the over is favored. We know in a 5-pick flex play, again on PrizePicks, we're getting minus 119 for a 5 or 6 flex. And so I took Booker over, right? PrizePicks is too low here. A lot of sports books are at 32.5. We're getting over 31.5. Underdog's at 32. We're getting over 31.5. The other sports books who also have his line at 31.5 have the over pretty heavily favored. So pretty clear value on PrizePicks. For Devin Booker over and Chris Paul under. And another thing you need to remember, right, is if Devin Booker goes off and has 50 points, right, him and Chris Paul, they kind of compete for points, right? So if Devin Booker goes over, it's more likely that Chris Paul will go under, right? If Devin Booker is taking all the shots and scoring all the points, then Chris Paul probably didn't go off and have 25 points as well, right? So taking an over for a player on one team and an under from a player on the same team, you get some positive correlation. So we get a bit of an advantage there. So a lot of people will be like, okay, so you took Paul under, Booker over. What about Cameron Payne? What about Spencer Dinwiddie? And just look. Here, PrizePicks, Underdog, they both have Dinwiddie's line at 18.5 points. All sportsbooks have him at 18.5 points. There's really no disagreement in the market. Some sportsbooks, here we can see Pinnacle Odds, which is also under the OddsJam column. They have the under slightly favored. 888 Sport has the under 18.5 slightly favored. FanDuel has the over slightly favored, but there's really no value in the market. All books are saying the same thing. Dinwiddie's line should be at 18.5 points. There's no value. Same with Cameron Payne. No value. All books, Underdog, PrizePicks have his line at 9.5. No inefficiencies, no value. We don't want to touch them, right? Whereas here, it's very clear. PrizePicks at 15.5, all books at 14.5. We want to take the under. So that's the first play I'm on. Now, although the screen is really useful for comparing where lines are set at different levels, so Paul 15.5 on PrizePicks versus 14.5 on Underdog in the sports books, what's really easy to use, so it requires less mental thought, is the OddsJam positive EV tool. And what this tool does is it just literally pulls in all the lines from PrizePicks and shows you where there's value in the odds, right? So this tool is used for comparing when books have the line set at the same levels. So right on the screen, we're looking for spots where the line is different, right? We're looking for where does PrizePicks have Paul's line at 15.5. when all sportsbooks have him at 14.5, so we can take the under. So the line is at different levels. 15.5, 14.5. The line is not even at the same level, right? So it's not like you can compare the odds, right? If PrizePicks is at 15.5, all the books are at 14.5. Like, those are different bets. Whereas here, every book has Jabari Smith's rebound line at 7.5 rebounds. So we're comparing prices, right? Here we're comparing odds. It's not like PrizePicks has Jabari Smith's line at 6.5 rebounds or 8.5 rebounds. Here they're all at 7.5. But the reason we want to take his over on PrizePicks, so it's just the bet in bold, kind of highlighted in green, is all these sportsbooks have the over heavily favored, right? All these sportsbooks have the over for Jabari Smith rebounds heavily favored. FanDuel's minus 150, Caesars minus 137, DraftKings minus 135, BetRivers minus 130. So all these books are telling you, Jabari Smith's over should be priced around minus 140. It should be a heavy favorite. The over is more likely. Lines are juiced towards the over. So FanDuel saying the over is favored, right? Minus 150 means a 1.5 to 1 favorite, a 60% favorite. So we're getting minus 119 on PrizePicks and a 5 flex. All books kind of pricing this around minus 140. Seems like pretty good value, right? Now, we wouldn't want to take this in a 2-pick power play, right? Because you're not getting that much value. If you take this in a 2-pick power play, you're getting minus 137 on PrizePicks. DraftKings is giving you better odds, minus 135. So minus 137, I wouldn't want to touch. I want to take this at minus 119. So it really is important, playing 5-pick flexes as opposed to 2-pick power plays. And I've given this example before, but imagine you won 57% of your picks in a 2-pick power play. Your ROI is going to be negative 2.5%. If you're winning 57% of your picks in a 5 flex, your ROI is positive 19.25%, right? So literally the difference, it's really important to understand the math to go through the payouts of PrizePicks. There's way too many new sports bettors I see who just sign up for PrizePicks and they're just like, oh, I'm just going to start gambling on this platform. I'm going to start placing 2-pick power plays. And they have no idea how PrizePicks works. If you don't understand how PrizePicks is trying to make money off you, you shouldn't be playing on PrizePicks, right? You have to understand the sportsbook first. What's optimal? 2-pick power plays, or should I be playing 3-pick power plays or 3-pick flexes, right? You have to go through the payouts and understand what's optimal, because if you don't understand how the book is trying to beat you, you're never going to beat the book, right? It's really important to go through, understand the math, the payouts. So we know as sharp bettors, we're getting minus 119 in a flex, in a 5 flex. All the books are telling us, this over should be heavily favored. So OddsJam is, going through all the sportsbook odds, pulling in all these lines from PrizePicks, literally updating millions of odds every second to show you those rare few betting opportunities on PrizePicks, which are just highlighted for you on the EV tool, and just showing you like, this is the play you want to be on. Smith over 7.5 rebounds. All sports books are telling you this line should be minus 140. You're getting minus 119. There's no disagreement really between the books. They all have the over heavily favored, right? It's not like DraftKings has the under favored. FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings, BetRivers, BetOnline, Pinnacle, they all have the over heavily juiced, right? They all have the over heavily favored. We're getting minus 119 on PrizePicks. So clear value here. James Wiseman play I took as well. Then the final pick I took is right here. John Collins over 17.5 points plus rebounds. So this play is not on the positive EV tool. And the reason it's not on the positive EV tool, even though I want to bet it, is the positive EV tool is pretty strict, right? The positive EV tool is meant to be a tool that you can blindly bet and you will make money, right? So you select the sports books you want. You can set min-max odds. So just for PrizePicks for this video, I did minus 119, but we can put in 190, whatever. We can select college basketball. We can select all sports. So typically all I do when I'm really seriously betting on PrizePicks is I just put in all the books I use. So FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings, whatever, all these books. Maybe we go ahead and let's add in Bovada. So I'll add in Bovada here. So the offshore books. And then, it just shows you, hey, this is the most profitable bet. Then this play on Bovada. Bruce Brown over 2.5 assists at plus 120 odds. You're getting pretty great value. Most other sports books not even giving you above really plus 100, plus 104 on BetOnline. So this is a play with value, right? So then you just hit these bets. But what the EV tool requires is it requires that there's a certain amount of sports books posting odds, right? So it only gives you the most confident plays, right? The plays that are the biggest line discrepancies. So here you can see Adam Flagler over 3.5 assists. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sportsbooks posting odds, and that's just in New York. Like if I switch this to Alabama, you're going to see like, okay, there's, tons of sportsbooks posting odds. So the EV tool is very confident, right? OddsJam is very confident that, yeah, you're getting crazy value at minus 119, considering there's tons of sportsbooks, tons of data points, all telling you this line should be around minus 145, minus 140. It's minus 174 on FanDuel, minus 161 on Pinnacle, right? Whereas the arbitrage tool, here, there's only 3 sportsbooks posting odds because it's a more niche market, right? This points plus rebounds market, not a lot of sportsbooks post odds on it. There's only 3 books posting odds. So this market, points plus rebounds, will never show up on the EV tool, even if the play is really good, because the EV tool, again, is meant to just show you where you're getting a clear line discrepancy to the entire market, where there's tens of sportsbooks posting odds, not just 3, right? So the EV tool is just a little more restrictive, right? Because again, it's meant to be the easiest tool on OddsJam to use, where you literally just hit the bet in bold, like this, like you literally just hit the bet in bold, right? That's highlighted in green. So here, Curry over 9.5 points, plus 130. Really clear line discrepancy. No other sportsbook's even giving you above plus 100, except for MyBookie is giving you exactly plus 100. You're getting frickin' plus 130 on FanDuel, right? So data-oriented sports betting, hunting for value in the market like a savvy investor, like a day trader. But here, there's only 3 data points, so it's not going to show up on the EV tool, but it's still a good bet. And the reason it's a good bet is this is an arbitrage opportunity. So arbitrage means the market is crossed, right? Like here you can see typically in the sports betting market. So these opportunities are rare. But again, OddsJam is updating millions of odds to find these few rare crossed market profitable betting opportunities. So usually, right, the plus number is smaller than the minus number. Here there's a 40-cent gap, right? This is a sports book with a 40-cent spread, right? The plus number is 40 cents below the minus number. So that is a spread, right? FanDuel is basically saying, yo, you can buy John Collins over 17.5 points plus rebounds for $162, or you can sell it for $122, right? There's a 40-cent spread. Whereas here, if you look at, the market with PrizePicks and FanDuel, this market is crossed. The plus number is greater than the minus number. So arbitrage means there's such different odds between 2 sportsbooks. So here you can see in England Championship, we have another one. There's such different odds between 2 sportsbooks. So this is an arbitrage calculator that I just pulled up, that you can bet the over, you can bet the under, equal and opposite outcomes, and make a risk-free profit due to massive discrepancies in sportsbook odds. So again, arbitrage isn't common, but OddsJam is literally updating, tens of thousands of odds. So all these odds here on DraftKings, right? OddsJam is pulling in everything, constantly scanning millions of odds to look for these arbitrage opportunities. But most importantly, when arbitrage exists and you can make risk-free money or the market is crossed, one play has to be profitable. Like by definition, if you can bet the over and the under and make a risk-free profit, like you can bet both and make a risk-free profit. So one of the plays has to be profitable. So we know either this minus 119 is profitable or both FanDuel and DraftKings are wrong, right? One of these books has to be wrong. Either PrizePicks is wrong or FanDuel and DraftKings are wrong, because this market is crossed with both FanDuel and DraftKings, right? DraftKings, it's only a 1 cent cross, but the market's still crossed, right? So one of these plays has to be profitable. And, again, it's PrizePicks versus both FanDuel and DraftKings, the 2 of the 3 sportsbooks posting odds. It's pretty clear that this play on PrizePicks is what we want to be on. So long story short, here's what I ended up going with. Collins over 17.5 points plus rebounds. We just showed that from the arbitrage tool. Smith over 7.5 rebounds. Wiseman over 20.5. So we showed those from the positive EV tool. Devin Booker over. Chris Paul under. That was from the screen. And then you can see here it's basically the same thing. I mean, literally these are the 5 picks we went through. 2 from the EV tool, 1 from the arbitrage tool, 2 from the screen. And then here's the final play. I just replaced it with Giannis. So a lot of plays open, and let's make some money. Feel free to let us know any questions.